Right, how's it going everyone? I'm Stratospheer, and welcome back to Novice to Master after my almost 2-month break. I'm honestly such a great YouTuber, guys. I'm just kidding. But I do want to quickly apologise for not uploading for a long time, because I've been recently busy with my exams, and a few side projects as well, which you may or may not find out about pretty soon. But now I can finally say that I'm back to making videos. Anyway, today is a pretty special day for quite a few reasons. One being that I recently hit 4,000 subscribers, which I know I'm very late on, but again, thank you guys so much. Like, oh my god. I never think I would have gotten this far on YouTube, and I can't thank you guys enough. So today, the thing you came here for, a full guide of Stratospheer expansion, an add-on I created myself for Bedrock Edition, which its main goal is to create some sort of progression ladder for food within the game. I'll just quickly mention, at the same time of this video being released, is the version 1.7 update, the highly anticipated one, that includes major recodes, so it can finally be future-proof. But for anyone new to this add-on, this video is perfect for you, as I'm going to go through as much as I can, and show you the basics, basically. Alright, so while using this add-on, you'll probably realise that all vanilla food is nerfed. So instead of relying on something just like cooked beef or golden carrots to keep yourself full, you'll actually be encouraged to discover more filling meals, which does get easier the more resources you gather. So to start your journey in this add-on, one thing you'll definitely need is one of these, a cookbook, which is simply a kitchen knife and a book in the crafting table, and this will be your companion throughout the add-on, basically giving you as much information as possible on the food equipment you need, and even some nutritional values for almost every food in the game. I'll go over that a bit more later. And you can even craft a book stand to hold it for you. How to use it is to interact with it, either by not crouching to just flick per page, or you can crouch and interact to actually flip to the different chapters in the book. Now with that out of the way, let's move on to the nature aspect of this add-on. So you may wonder how you'd actually be able to obtain all these different kinds of crops in the add-on, and actually find them in the wild. And that's what these 4 bushes are for. The forest bush, the tiger bush, the tropical bush, and the torrid bush. The names correspond to where you can find them. So the reason why each are different is because they all give different kinds of crops, which will be shown on screen right now. But that's not the only way you can find the new crops in the add-on. Another way is crop trees, which look like plain old trees, but you can find unique crops hanging off of it, such as bananas, oranges, etc. And that can be an easier alternative in many cases. And finally, arguably the staple of this add-on, maple trees. You can find these in the wild just like crop trees, but since the past few updates they've been completely retextured to have a lot better looking textures basically, and also a more complete wood palette, including doors and trapdoors, and even stairs. Another thing you'll want maple trees for is for collecting maple syrup in the sap of the logs. So you may notice a bit of orange goo coming out of the logs, and that grows over time. All you need to do is use a glass jar to collect it, which is simply just a glass bottle in the crafting menu. And you can just interact with a matured log and obtain your maple syrup. In the world, you can also find salt as well, which is an essential ingredient for making different kinds of meals. And this can be obtained from ores, but there are also renewable alternatives, which I'll go over later on in the video. Now moving on to the equipment of this add-on, which I've been staring at for 10 minutes. You'll notice that if you look in the crafting table to try and craft a meal, you might find you don't know how to get any of these ingredients. Well, that's because you make them all with these equipment blocks. At any time if you're struggling how to craft with any of these, the cookbook does you good, goes through every different kind of piece of equipment, saying the different recipes that you need for it, and so on. So make sure to refer to this whenever you can. Now we might as well look at the stove, which is a brand new block in this update designed for baking. This can be powered with coal, lava, basically any furnace fuel, and once you power it, it allows you to open its door and start baking from the oven door for a limited time. This is used for baking cakes, pies, pizzas, basically any food logically needing to be cooked before you eat it, allowing for a lot more realism in the add-on. Now let's cover both the cooking pot and the frying pan at once because they work very similarly, but they have different functions. Once you pick up the cooking pot and the frying pan, they have a really cool 3D model in your hand. But not just that, if you try and hit an animal with it, it'll do 1 attack damage, so double your hand damage. Both of these need to be placed either on a furnace, a smoker, or right here, stoves. What the pot is good for is providing a renewable way of making salt, and various other things such as making cheese, or different kinds of soups, which is the new official way to make soups in this add-on. You can't make them with crafting tables anymore. And you can even make spider eye soup, so purifying it. Of course it won't give you as much nutrition because it stems from a poisonous food, but at least it's edible. As for the frying pan, or skillet, it has a very similar recipe to the pot, only requiring 4 iron ingots and a stick, but it's used for general frying, such as pancakes, chicken nuggets, fries, etc., or it can be used to cut up meats, such as sausage, bacon, and I'll tell you how to get these in just a second. So as you can see, both pieces of equipment are very useful, so it's recommended to get along with the stove. The churn is one of the most easiest pieces of equipment to use, and it's one of the first. All you need to do is fill it up with milk, up to 4 buckets it can hold, and just push the dasher down, and it'll give you butter. 2 per bucket. The pestle and mortar is another simple piece of equipment, allowing you to place different crops to get different powders, such as sugar from sugarcane, flour from wheat, or cocoa powder from cocoa beans, which are all 3 very essential powders. The chopping board is, as it's called, is used for cutting up different pieces of food into slices, such as cheese, bread, or even pork chops into sausage or bacon. The chances of dropping each different slice is shown in the cookbook. Also, you required any kind of kitchen knife, either iron, diamond, or even netherite if you're willing to upgrade it that far. And the toaster is pretty self-explanatory. You get the bread slices you just cut from the chopping board, place it down, and give it a few seconds and it'll pop back out, giving you toast. Voila! The blender can be a little bit more complex, so you might need to refer to the cookbook for the different recipes, because it can be as simple as 2 melons to make a melon smoothie. Like so. Or it can be as complex as 2 cookies and a bit of milk to get a cookie and cream smoothie. To get access to the fulfilling meals in the add-on, you'll need to be aware of these different food containers. There's obviously bowls, there's paper plates and ceramic plates. All pretty simple to make, and it's explained what their uses are in the cookbook. Just be aware these food containers only stack to 16. But there's also the different drink containers, jars, drinking glasses or ceramic mugs. Drinking glasses are for cold drinks, ceramic mugs are for hot drinks, and jars can be used to store maple syrup, jam, or marmalade. In this update you can also create alcoholic drinks by first creating ethanol by putting a bit of flour in the potions, and soon after you can add a specific ingredient for the different kind of drink you want. In my instance you can create vodka with a potato, and with this you can finally get as drunk as you want. Amazing. Alright, let's take a tour through my garden to see the different crops you can find within this add-on. Now as this add-on stands, there are 6 farmland crops you can obtain, all being able to be planted on farmland, but this is not farmland. Yes, my friend, this is Stratospheer. A very cheap block, allowing you to place the crops without being disturbed by Minecraft 1.20 bugs. Or alternatively, as you've seen earlier, you can also place it on crop pots, allowing a more stylish approach to showing off your crops. And yes, here I am giving copper an actual use. And then there's also 6 tree crops in this add-on, either being able to be placed on the leaves, or actually on the logs of trees. And of course, you can find most of these in the crop bushes in the wild. But keep in mind you can also make saplings for these crops by using 2 of the crop, with the sapling in the crafting menu, and in this instance I get an apple sapling. Now let's talk about the food that's actually in this add-on. I'd just like to note that each food can have a different duration level, as I'm showing on the screen right now, and this depends on its nutrition level, basically. And the higher the nutrition level, the longer it takes to eat. Alright, let's finally return to the food info chapter in the cookbook. I've done my best to categorize each food into a specific category. It is very difficult, because they are all really varied. As for like buttered foods or food on toast, whatever, you can do simple addition with the ingredients and you'll eventually get what the nutritional value is. You may wonder what this yellow shank is. Well, that's saturation. How I've coded saturation in as I've used the specific categories in food, such as poor, low, normal, max, and supernatural, I believe. They're the 5 categories. And you can see what each one is depending on how many shanks there are saturation. And much like nutrition, it's a very important part of food if you don't know already. That's how long it takes for you to be hungry again. And as you can see, the different categories of food are crops, ingredients, raw meat, snacks, light meals, hearty meals, feasts, which are the best foods you can ever get. And as you can see, one of them is a plated meal. So that just proves it. Use plated meals. But then I've also categorized drinks. So there's juice, smoothies, milkshakes, obviously being the best, and hot drinks being a slightly less nutritious but more saturated alternative. Now, as I've made it clear on the front page of this book, dough is a very important thing in this add-on, as it's needed for bread, cakes, which are also very nutritious and saturated, and the bread's useful for crafting most of the hand meals, which don't require you to have a plate and can stack to 64. So really, if you ever are struggling on how to craft something, you can either find it in the crafting table or the stove, as most meals can be made in the stove now. Crafting tables are more for hand meals, or just making plated meals in general, while this is for essentially baking, so bread, cakes, pies, etc. So yeah, I hope this summarized Stratospheer expansion for you. This was a very much needed video because I've made like 6 videos before this, going through every feature, every new feature in this add-on, and it just gets confusing, so summarizing all into one thing, I think is much better. And I've done my best to future-proof everything, but check out version 1.7 now. You have to. You've gotten to the end of the video. There's nothing you can do now. But seriously guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you didn't, please subscribe if you're new to this channel. And please give me suggestions on what else you want me to add to this add-on. It's probably going to be a lot more minor updates, because for this update I asked you guys what you wanted in the add-on. And due to popular demand, let me just show you real quick. And due to popular demand, I got exactly what you guys asked for, which is ramen. This was a highly requested food, so I've added it for you guys. But yeah, now anything's open. I'm really happy with this add-on at the minute, so anything you guys add is just a bonus. So please let me know. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!